All right, so it's another eBay antique unboxing. I just did a video about this chatelaine purse that I got on eBay. It actually clips to a lady's waistband and dangles down. Very, very pretty. And this one I paid $18 for. And it's in immaculate condition. With made out of suede. Let me just brush off. Okay. Made out of suede leather. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and get on to the next. I'm just going to put this aside a moment. Get the scissors. The scissors. Never cut towards yourself. I learned that when I worked in a deli, and to this day I think about it, but I cut towards myself like a schmuck all the time. Oh my God, all the stuffing. Okay, you know what? I had to give the seller, I really had to give them a definite 5-star for this one. She was going to put it in an envelope. And you never put anything fragile in an envelope. Why? Because it's just not wise. And a lot of people on eBay who sell fragile things I'm not saying that they have low IQs, but they just don't think. They put things in those padded envelopes. The mailman's going to step on it. You follow? We don't want the mailman to step on something that's 135 years old. That would be a travesty, right? It survives for 135 years, and then it's death by mailman. We don't want death by mailman. All right, this is actually, I think this is even older. Oh my God, it's beautiful. It is, oh wow. Okay, wait, let's just move the camera down. And, all right, we're going to get in here. I think this is older than 135 years. Hold on, I got to get the calculator out. I did the math with the calculator because I suck. 150 years old. Okay? 150 years old. So somebody put this on, I was going to say YouTube. On eBay. They're not a dealer of these things. They put it on. They put something about, oh yeah, they started it out at, I think it was $59.99 or something like this. Make an offer. And I was like, oh, it was just listed. I better do something fast about this before all the collectors find this, because he put it in the right he put this in the right like category. And I was like, they're gonna find this. The bids are gonna start coming in on this, and then I will never get a chance to own this because I can't afford what this is worth. All right. So what the hell is this? You're gonna be like, huh? What is that? What did you go so wild over? All right, so what this is, I don't know if you could see this. It looks like a bullet. It is not a bullet. This is a chatelaine vinaigrette. And you're like, vinaigrette? Like people carried these things on a chain 150 years so they can put oil on their salad? No, it's something you smell. Like if a lady they needed things smelled like shit. Let's put it in plain English. Things in the Victorian era smelled like absolute dog shit, except for his horse shit. Horse shit was everywhere in the streets. People did not shower as often as they should have. They showered. They had probably like their once a month bath. Basically, everything smelled like armpits. The streets, there was soot everywhere. So a lady had to carry one of these suckers around. Otherwise, she would pass out. And some of them contained smelling salts in it. So if she did pass out, it would knock her back to reality. Or their oiled perfumes and vinaigrette, so she could sniff. Put her nose right here, her schnozzle, the holes on her nose, right in the spot where the holes are that you see here, so she can catch a whiff. And you're like, ooh, I did not know that. Well, now you do. Now, this is a chatelaine. So this is dangled from a lady's waistband and may have been attached to many other different things on a silver chatelaine. Okay, so I cleaned it. I couldn't help myself. I cleaned it, and then I'm coming back to tell you more about chatelaines and about these really cool perfume bottles. As you can see, look how shiny it is and so clean. And this was made, well, it was patented in 1873, January 7th, to be precise, 1873. How could I tell that? Because it's right on the edge of where the screw cap is on the bottle. Oof, I don't even want to touch it. I really do need gloves for this sort of thing. But let's get in there. Let's dangle this closer to you so maybe you can actually see where it says it. I think it is on the other side. And Where the heck is it right now? It was like as clear as a bell earlier. Hold on. Let's try to get in there. My camera is terrible at focusing. And now I can't find it. Well, shit. Shit, where the hell is it? Wait. Come on, focus. Focus, you little turd. Focus. Oh my God, my hands are really dry. It does say, oh, there we go. Of course. You know what? I'm going to have to zoom out. This is so stupid. All right. There we go. January 7th, 73. All right, so the person that was selling it thought this was made in 1973. Thankfully for me, he thought this was from 1973 and thought it was vintage, and that's how I got it. Now, who is it made by? Now, I am no expert. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm no expert, but I really believe this was made by John R. Wendt, W-E-N-D-T. And John Wendt's pieces of silver were not generally marked. And a lot of them did have the patent on the, like edge somewhere hidden. Now, this also has Roman numerals on the inside when I unscrew it. Oh, I don't like touching it. I have to get gloves. Now I feel just as ridiculous as Dr. Lori when she wears her Minnie Mouse gloves. And if you look really close, oh, I forgot to put the other glove on. Yeah, I'm definitely not Dr. Lori. Okay, so now I'm like Dr. Lori. All right. A better version. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now you might be like, what the hell is that? So this is where you would sniff the area. Now it does have some stoppage in there. It could be some old gunk, but these little holes would have been open so a lady could place this up in her nostril area. If you unscrew this, and I'm going to go gently, you will see some kind of Roman numeral number, if we can find it. Where the hell is it? Trying to find it. There we go. It's IIXX or XXII. Now I did a test. This is sterling. This is sterling silver, but it is unmarked. And it being 1873, I don't think there was any law that it had to be marked sterling back then, although I could be wrong. Again, no expert. Now I believe it was made by John Wendt. Let's take a look inside this cap. Hold on. I'm going to have to clean this cap out. You can see like the pierced little holes inside of it. But these are really amazing. They're very, very hard to come by for cheap. If you find them, you're going to have to pay quite a big amount of money. It's not cheap to collect these. So that's why as soon as I saw this and the guy had to make an offer and he just listed it and nobody spied this with their little eye, I was like, I better get a hold of this before this guy sells it to somebody else who makes a better offer than me. And you might say that's highway robbery. But like I said, everybody has Google at their fingertips. If they're too lazy to look things up, it's their loss. Okay, so let's find out more about John R. Wendt, who is the greatest silversmith in America. He was not an American. He was a German, actually, who came to America and who taught Americans how to chase silver. Now, this is in the Japanesque style. I don't know if you can see this, but you see these engraved areas. This is very Japanesque. And what do I mean by that? It was an art movement that was very Japanese in style. All right, so let's go find out about John Wendt. And we're going to find out comparables and price, what these type of things go for. Oh, and by the way, did I mention early? I might have mentioned. This was like the Swiss Army knife of women. And I'll show you chatelaines, like whole entire chatelaines. Now, a problem with these is that there are a lot of these people that piecemeal these whole entire things out. So what they basically do is, if they find a whole chatelaine with multiple pieces dangling from it, what they will do is piecemeal it. Meaning, when I say piecemeal, they'll sell the needle case. They'll sell the boot hook separately. They'll sell the perfume bottle separately. All the little doodads that would dangle down by chains from a lady's waistband on a clip, they sell them separately just to get more money. And I hate when they separate pieces that were once married together. It really aggravates the shit out of me. And a lot of these things are getting lost from those precious metal people. And when I say those precious metal people, the people that like to collect silver, generally what they'll do is they'll get these old pieces at estate sales or thrift stores or auctions, and they'll actually sell this for melt value. So little by little, these things are disappearing one by one. Before you know it, these are going to all be gone. They take antique teapots made out of silver. They get them pawned for metal value. And before you know it, this is going to be lost to history. All right, let's find out about John Wendt. Okay, so John R. Wendt was active in the New York City area from the late 1850s until the early 1870s. His flatware is usually marked sterling, patent, or I can't even see this, 925 patent. These are often accompanied by a retailer's mark, such as Ball, Black & Company or Star & Marcus. Not all of them are even marked. It might just have a patent date. Now, he was one of the best silversmiths ever. So let's try to find more information about him. And here we go. Okay, so, by the way, here's some of his pieces. This is a catalog piece of his. And wow, that's 1857. John R. Wendt has proven to be one of the most important, yet elusive, of all 19th century American silversmiths due to the fact that most of his work was marked only by its retailers. His pieces can be difficult to identify. Although his years in New York have been well documented and much of his flatware identified, little is known of his early Boston years. The Boston partnership of Augustus Rogers and John Rudolph Wendt has been identified in several early silver references, including Hollis French, A Silver Collector's Glossary, blah, blah, blah. And it says, but in all instances, the partnership is dated to circa 1850 and no marks are represented. So you really can't find many marks on this guy. Some with retailers' marks, some without. And here's some more pieces of his. This is, it says he was in partnership with Augustus Rogers, a Boston silversmith, that lasted until 1860, but he formed it in 1853. And let's continue to go. Here's some of his pieces. That's a coffee pot. And then when Wendt was lured to New York City, Ball, Black & Company lured him, the important silver jewelry firm, to form a close manufacturer-retail relationship similar to the relationship of John C. Moore, who was developing a relationship with Tiffany & Company. And so here's some of his pieces. As you can see here, beautiful. And not all his pieces are marked. And I'm assuming, no expert, that my piece is a John R. Wendt. Now, around the 1870s, these bullet-shaped chatelaine or perfumers or vinaigrettes or smelling salt bottles were very popular. Here's an example right here. And we have the original clip that would have attached to a lady's belt. And let's continue to look at other pictures. Here's somebody actually showing a video. It looks very similar to mine. Not identical, but almost identical. And he's showing you, and it's very hard to do this. Here we go. He's showing you what it looks like. And yeah, he didn't clean his. Mine was cleaned. And yep, I'm going to say this is like identical. And how much is he selling this one for? $725. Now, from time to time, you will come across ones that are ovoid, or in this type of shape. And apparently this person didn't do their research. They really don't know who made this. I am guessing that it is a Wendt piece. It's very similar in that Japanesque type of style to mine. And this is actually a really good bargain because this person is selling this for $225. Okay, so here's another one being sold on Etsy, almost identical to mine, not cleaned up, and they're selling it for $675. And as you can see, these are not very cheap, and why I flipped out when I had to have it on eBay. And I was so fortunate to get this piece because I would never be able to afford this type of price. Now here we go. Here's an actual John R. Wendt sterling silver scent bottle chatelaine with the clip. And it was selling for $669.50. It's no longer there because it's sold. And let's try to see what it looks like. Can we blow this up at all? I'm going to have to take my glove off a moment. There we go. And here's another example. And it is a Wendt piece. So as you can tell, these are very expensive. Now, the clip would have made it worth more. I don't have the clip, but pretty much you never really find them with the clip. So it's not a rarity to find it without the little clip that would have went around the waist. But you can see these are not cheap. These are not cheap at all. And there we go. And he's saying this is a Wendt piece. And we have, again, that patent, just like mine, right on the edge of that bottle. Okay, so we're on a site called Mrs. Havisham's Curiosities, and it's tea without sympathy. And here's an example of what I was talking about, how many little different things would have dangled from these chains, everyday necessities. This was the earliest form of the Swiss Army knife. And for example, you would have many different things dangling from a clip, from chains that could be removable and used. And so this was the world's earliest first Swiss Army knife for women. And the women was known as the key holder back then. So sometimes she would even carry keys from this. So the lady of the house was in charge of all the keys and all the locks of everything that locked inside of a house. So let's read about it. She holds the keys to the castle, chatelaines. In the great houses of long ago, there was always a strict chain of command. At the top of this chain was presumably the lord or gentleman of the estate, but in truth, the real control lay in the hands of a woman. The lady of the house held the keys to every lock, whether on a bedroom door, a desk safe, or on the kitchen pantry. With the keys came great responsibility. One only locks away the things one values or fears most after all. A lady in such a position needed to be prepared for every possible task, armed with the tools to stitch a hem, inspect a document up close, snip a stray leaf from a carefully arranged bouquet, and of course unlock every door. A lady must be well equipped. Enter the chatelaine. Named after the French word for a lady who controls a great house, a chatelaine was the precursor to the keychain, the Swiss Army knife, the multi-tool, the tool belt, even if it's for ladies only. And here's a beautiful painting of a lady right around that time, and how I think she is holding a chatelaine. I can't even see. And there we go. All right. And it would be dangling from her waistband. It says, I found this painting on a feminist website. It was labeled another unambitious woman. In fact, she is Mrs. James Guthrie by the Victorian artist Lord Frederick Leighton. I cannot speak to her ambition. Attached to the waist of your dress, a chatelaine consists of a series of chains from which hung keys, scissors, pen and paper, eyeglasses, whatever tools a lady deemed necessary, and they tended to be amazing pieces of jewelry. And some schmucks come along 150, 175 years later, 200 years later, and piecemeal these out and sell each one separately. What bastards. And here's an example. Look at all these cool things. A notepad on the left, a perfume bottle. I think a little knife or a scissor, all sorts of things, even a tape measure all the way to the right. And the piece above has a pen and paper, a pocket watch, a pocket knife. Okay, it wasn't a scissor. And my favorite, a small bottle for perfume or smelling salts. A lady must smell heavenly at all times and stay conscious whenever possible. Wouldn't you agree? Those crushing corsets surely restricted your breathing. And let's be honest, life was pretty damn restrictive all around. Your place in society was largely set by your birth and your marriage, which was often decided by your station, your dowry, your parents, rarely by you. If the keys to the goddamn house were all you got, well then ladies understandably clung to them with the grip of steel. The responsible lady of the house could be taken from you. The responsibility of the lady of the house could be taken from you, however. The women with the keys to all the many desks, chests of drawers, food hampers, pantries, storage containers, and many other locked cabinets was the woman of the household, in quotes. As such, she was the one who would direct the servants, housemaids, cooks, and delivery servicemen, and who would open or lock the access to the valuables of the house, possessing a total authority over who had access of what. Frequently, this hostess was the senior woman of the house. When a woman married a son and moved into the father's house, the son's mother would usually hold on to the keys. However, if the mother were to become a widow, the keys and their responsibilities and status were often passed to the oldest son's wife. A younger woman and daughters in the house often wanted the appearance of this responsibility and would often wear decorative chatelaines with a variety of small objects in the place of keys, especially bright and glittering objects that could be used to start a conversation. In the case of the absence of a woman of the house, the controller of the keys was often a hired housekeeper. So think of Miss Hughes in Downtown Abbey as the kind and efficient housekeeper. Never saw that show. Everyone's telling me to watch it. We love Mrs. Hughes. I'm going to have to watch it. Think The Evil Sister and Crimson Peak for the in-law angle. We don't like her one bit. If your husband died, you had to give the keys to your daughter-in-law, and you had to wait for your father-in-law to die to get any control of your home. Seems like a recipe for a family discord to me. Yeah. And there's, yeah, I guess the lady from Downtown Abbey wearing her chatelaine with all the power. And that's what chatelaines are about. Okay. Okay, so I got one such historical object in my collection. I got many more of these, and glad that YouTuber, oh my God, I'm having a stroke. that eBayer was none the wiser, thought this was made in 1973. That was a great year, by the way, the year I was born. And yeah, so we got this 1873 chatelaine perfumer, or vinaigrette, or smelling salts bottle, added to the collection. Now, if I would have to pay for this retail at a high-end antique shop online or in person, probably anywhere between $300 to $600. Without the clip, it minuses out the value a little bit, but not by much, because most people do not expect to even find these with the clip. They're always long gone, because those silver people, if you know what I mean. Now, I'm going to get a lot of thumbs down for this, but those people that collect silver for value or smelt value end up taking these beautiful old pieces, pawning them off for silver value, and they go bye-bye forever, and you'll never see these pieces again. And little by little, as time goes on, these things are going to disappear more and more and more as those silver people keep coming along, destroying antique teapots, antique coffee pots, antique cups, antique vases, antique silverware, and forks and knives and spoons and whatever else you can think of under the sun. These people are going to come along and actually smelt these pieces down for the value of silver. And little by little, we are going to lose these pieces to history because of greed. And as Gordon Gekko once said, greed is good, but greed is not good when it comes to antiques. So leave the damn antiques alone. So you precious silver people, please, for the love of God, if it's antique, just let it be. Let it tell the history. Let it tell the tale of the filthy, disgusting, smelly Victorian era. Let it tell us about how people once lived. This is an artifact, after all. You can't just melt this down for silver value. This tells a tale. It tells a tale of the way people once lived and how a woman would have to carry this around. Otherwise, the smells were so awful. She would probably pass out and actually need this to actually sniff to wake herself up. Thanks for watching. See you guys all soon, and so long. If I could shut this damn thing off. Oh, I got these freaking Dr. Lori Minnie Mouse gloves on.